Welcome to the second Presentation Skills programme, part of getting your message across. The emphasis for today's programme is on the first two elements, that's purpose and audience. The thing is, if we don't know where our presentation is going and why we're doing it, the audience are never ever going to be able to come with us. So let's start by thinking of purpose. Why are we delivering this presentation? That's the top of our list. If you've been asked to deliver it by someone, ask them why they want you to deliver. Ask them what outcomes they're looking for. Not just what you need to talk about, but why you're talking about it. If we go back to the 70s, there was something called management by objectives. And that talked about SMART objectives. Well, we can very much apply that mnemonic to a presentation. The first element of that is S for specific. So specifically, what are we going to include in this presentation? Specifically, what is our purpose? We should be absolutely crystal clear about that. So for example, we could phrase it by saying, by the end of the presentation, the audience will. What will they know? What will they understand? What will they now think? What will they be able to do? What will they want to do? So let's be crystal clear about S for specific. The second is M, measurable. How will you know whether you've delivered what you said you were going to deliver? Will you do that by asking questions throughout? Will you do it perhaps by seeing whether they're nodding at you and smiling, and it's always a good sign? Will you be able to check that by maybe having them work in small groups or take a moment to speak to the person next to them and share some answers? Is it done afterwards, perhaps by some sort of evaluation or questionnaire, either immediately the presentation is over or 2 or 3 weeks later? So how will you know whether you've delivered what you said? You're specific and you're measurable. Let's think about A, achievable. Is this realistic with this audience in mind? Can you honestly deliver that in this time frame with that particular audience? Do you know what their current level of knowledge is? Do you know where they started from? So can we deliver all these things realistically? Please make sure you think about that, knowing how much time you may or may not have. The R of SMART. What we're looking at in terms of R is relevant. Is this topic relevant to these people? And if so, how can you make it even more relevant? What examples can you give? What stories, what anecdotes? How can you link it to their experience? And then finally, timing. Can we deliver this in time? This is so critical. Whether you're delivering an individual presentation or part of a whole series of people delivering, how long have you got, and can you fit into that time scale what it is you've been asked to deliver? How are you going to know? Well, try it out. Rehearse. Rehearse as much as you possibly can. Rehearse out loud. You know, we think at a different speed to the way that we speak. We read at a different speed again. Reading is typically 250 to 300 words per minute. So if you write your presentation down and then read it to yourself, that's roughly the sort of time. So if we have a presentation of, let's say, 900 words, you'll read it in 3 minutes roughly. But if you actually say those words out loud, we're only going to speak at around about 140 to 150 words per minute. So what you read in 3 minutes is going to take at least 6 minutes to stand up and say it out loud. It's only a rule of thumb, but it gives you a good indication. But nothing is the same as practicing out loud. Rehearse once, rehearse twice, and rehearse a third time too. You cannot beat rehearsal. Just finally, newsreaders, when they're giving a really serious piece of news, they can slow down to around about 120 to 130 words per minute. It's really slow. But do you know how fast you think? Well, they say, difficult to find the proof, but they say it's between 300 and 350 words per minute. And that is such a good thing to know. When you're speaking 140, 150 words per minute, you actually have about 200 words per minute of spare time for you to think about and plan what you're going to do next. So to summarise, when we're thinking about purpose and audience, can we deliver what we said we would deliver to this audience within the time we've actually got available to us? Remember our SMART objective: specific, measurable, and is this achievable? Is it therefore relevant to the audience, and can we fit it into the time allowed? Remember, if you meet their needs, they will walk away from your presentation not only satisfied with what they know, but very confident in you as a presenter for the future.